Alright guys and girls, welcome back to another fun-filled, action-packed, non-flipped classroom with Coach Gu. That's me, and this is the last notes for this unit, and it's about switching between vertex and standard form. Okay, so we've been working with two forms, standard form right there, f of x equals ax squared plus bx plus c, and we've been working with vertex form, f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Okay, so we can actually go between both of these forms. We'll go from one to the other, and vice versa. So let's see how we would go from standard form to vertex form. So let's say we're given an equation like this one, f of x equals 2x squared minus 8x plus 15. Okay, that's in standard form. We can see the x squared, we can see the x. We want to write that in vertex form. All right. So if we want to write something in vertex form, that requires that we know the what? What point do we need to know if we're trying to write something in vertex form? The vertex, that's right. You have to know the vertex in order to write in vertex form. All right. The good thing is that we can find the vertex from the standard form equation using this formula. So let's walk through these steps and see how we could write a formula that's in standard form into vertex form. So step one, identify a, b, and c. So what is the a value on this function? 2. What is the b value? Negative 8. That's right. And what is the c value? 15. That's right. Okay, so step 2, we're going to find the vertex, right? We need the vertex to be able to write an equation in vertex form, so we're going to find it using negative b over 2a. So we're going to go negative, and what is b? Negative 8 over 2 times a, but what is a? 2. And so this would simplify to what? What is negative 8? That's just positive 8 over 4, which simplifies to 2. So the x value of my vertex is 2, so I'm going to go ahead and just write that over here. It's going to be 2. All right, now we need to find the y value. And how do I find the y value from that? We plug that 2 back in for anywhere we see x in the original equation. So it's going to be 2 times 2 squared minus 8 times 2, right, plus 15. And so once we solve this equation out, that will be the y value. So what do we need to do first, though, in that first term? Square. We need to square it first. So what is 2 squared? 4. So now this is going to be 2 times 4. And then what is negative 8 times 2? So minus 16, and then plus 5.
15.
Oh, whoops, what the heck? Plus 15. All right, and then what is 2 times 4? 8. So we got 8 minus 16 plus 15, which equals 7. That's right. And so the y value on my vertex is going to be 7. There we go. Okay, but remember, what is h there? Which one's h? The 2 or the 7? 2. Because the vertex is always h and then k. That's right. And so now we have everything we need to write that vertex form equation. You see, our vertex form equation is supposed to be f of x equals a times x minus h squared plus k. Now we know h and k. So f of x equals, what's the a though? 2. The a is actually the exact same a that we got from our standard form equation. So my final equation is going to be f of x equals 2 times x minus 2, because the h is 2, squared, and then plus 7. That's right. And so this right here is the exact same graph as our original standard form, f of x equals 2x squared minus 8x plus 15. But this is in vertex form. All right, so that is the steps that you use to go from standard form to vertex form. So I want you guys to try these two on your own. All right, let's go over these two to make sure we all have the same answer here. So on number 1, what's the first thing we want to do? A, B, and C. So what is A on number 1? 2. What is B?
8.
And what is C?
7.
Okay, and then we want to find what? The vertex. So we use negative B over 2A. And so that's going to be negative what? 8 over 2 times 2. And this would simplify to negative 8 over, which is negative 2. Right. Okay. And so we want to find the y value now for the vertex. So we're going to plug the negative 2 in for all the x's. So it's going to be like 2 8 squared plus 8 times. And we plug in the negative 2 into all those x's. And so we need to solve this out. What do we need to do first here? Let's make sure we know. Square the negative 2. What's negative 2 squared? That's positive 4. So we have 2 times 4. And then what's 8 times negative 2? Negative 16. And then we have plus 7. What is 2 times 4?
8.
8 minus 16 plus 7 equals negative 1. That's right. So my vertex is going to be what? Negative 2, negative 1. That's right. Which one's h? Which one's k?
Negative 2 is h.
Right? And k. There we go. And so what will my final answer be then? How do you write your final answer? F of x equals 2, right? Because the a is 2. And then? Parentheses x plus 2. Close the parentheses. Squared. Minus 1. There you go. Very good. Nice. There it is. All right, and let's do the other one as well. Number 2. What is a on this one? Negative 3. What's b? 6. And what is c? 4. Right. So we're going to use negative b over 2a to find our vertex. So that's going to be negative, what's b? Right. So negative 6 over 2 times, what's a? Negative 3, right? And so this simplifies to negative 6 over what? Which is? That's positive 1, right? Because negative 6 divided by negative 6 is positive 1. Now we need to find the y value for the vertex, so we just plug that in. So negative 3 times, right? 1 parentheses squared, right? Right? Plus 4. All right, now simplify this. We need to square the 1 first, which turns into what? 1, right. So that's just going to be negative 3 times 1 plus, what's 6 times 1?
6.
Plus 6 plus 4. What is negative 3 times 1? Negative 3 plus 6 plus 4. And what is negative 3 plus 6 plus 4? That is 7. So my y value is going to be 7. All right, so right, the vertex is parentheses 1, comma 7. Very good. So we know it's h and k. And so what will my final answer be then? F of x equals? What is the a value here? Negative 3, that's right. So it's going to be negative 3 minus 1, very good. Squared, yeah, don't forget the squared. Plus 7, and that is correct. There we go. Very good. Alrighty, so now on to the last thing then. Turn the page over on the back side. Now we're going to go from vertex form to standard form. This is a lot more straightforward actually. So vertex form like this, f of x equals negative 2 times x minus 3 quantity squared plus 3. And we want to change that into standard form, okay? And so we can just follow these steps. All we have to do really is just expand that whole expression and then simplify. So let's follow these steps. Step 1, we're going to FOIL out the x minus h quantity squared expression. You see right there, there's like an x minus 3 in parentheses and then squared, right? Well, that really just tells you there's 2 of those, like this. So this expression, if we expand it, it's going to be negative 2 times x minus 3, and then again times x minus 3. That's what that squared is actually saying, right? So now I'm just writing it out so we can expand it, and then can't forget the plus 3 at the end. All right, so then we need to FOIL out that expression. Remember, when you have 2 of these parentheses like this with the x's in them, we use FOILing method to find out what it actually equals. So you take each term in the first parentheses and multiply it by every term in the second parenthesis. So it would be like this. And then same thing with the -3, boom. And if you do it right, it always looks like a moon. Look at that. Or a croissant, maybe. I don't know. Yeah. -2. All right, so now we're going to, the next line, why are you still talking with the croissant? Okay, then -2, and then in parentheses, we need to do the foiling. So look at where the lines connect to. We got x times x. What is x times x?
X squared.
X squared, yeah. X times x is x squared. X plus x is 2x, okay? So that's x squared. Then look at the next line. We got x times -3. -3x. Good. Okay, we took care of both of those, so now let's go to the bottom. We got -3 times x. -3x. And you always should see one repeating term because we have it squared in the first place. If you don't see that, you did it wrong. And then last, we got -3 times -3. Positive what? 9. There we go. And then don't forget the +3 at the very end. Okay, and then we have to simplify, combine like terms inside the parentheses. So if I combine the like terms inside the parentheses, what do I have?
X squared minus 6x.
Minus 6x? That's right. And then don't forget the +3 at the very end, okay? So then your next step, then step 2, is we're going to distribute that a value to everything inside the parentheses. So this -2 then, we're going to multiply it to everything inside the parentheses. So, what is -2 times x squared? Right, -2x squared. Then what is -2 times -6x? Positive 12x, right? And then lastly, -2 times positive 9. -18. And then don't forget the +3 at the end, yeah. After that, we're pretty much ready to write our final answer. We need to write an equation or function, which means f of x. What? Right, and that's going to be our final answer then. So it's f of x equals, and then we combine like terms, so it's going to be what? Negative
2x squared.
Right?
12 minus 15.
Plus 12x minus 15. That is correct, and there it is. So now this is your standard form equation of our vertex right there. Whoa, hold on. Okay. All right, so I want you guys to try these next two on your own. All right, let's go over these last two and make sure we got the hang of it. So on this first question right here, if I expanded that quantity squared expression, what would it say? How should I write this out? 4 parentheses, right? Parentheses. That, like this, exactly. Okay, and then we gotta draw the moon. There we go. For foiling, and this is gonna foil out to be what? X squared plus x plus x plus 1. That's right. Minus 9. Then combine like terms. So what's inside the parentheses now?
X squared plus 2x.
X squared plus 2x plus 1. Right, because x plus x is 2x. And minus 9. What is next then? What's the next step? Distribute, that's right. Oy, like this. 4x squared plus 8x plus 4 minus 9. What?
Wait, no, it's not.
Wait, what? 4 times 1 is 4 times 1 is 4. And so what is the very last, what's your actual equation then?
4x squared plus 8x.
What's your answer that you're going to write?
X
F of x
squared
equals 4x squared
plus 8x
plus 8x
minus 5.
minus 5. That's right. All right, and the last one real quick. Let's see over here. This is going to be negative 3 times 2x minus 1 times 2x minus 1 plus 8. We got to FOIL this one out as well. And so this is going to be negative 3. And then in parentheses, what's 2x times 2x? 4x squared, and then
Minus 2x.
minus 2x,
Minus 2x.
minus 2x,
Plus 1.
plus 1, plus 8. That will simplify out to 4x squared minus 4x plus 1 plus 8. Then we have to distribute the negative 3 to everything, which will make it negative 12x squared, right? Plus 12x minus 3 plus 8. And finally, that would make my answer f of x equals negative 12x squared plus 12x plus 5. And that is it. And that's the last section of notes. See you next time. Peace!